Events of the last few days has sent William Ruto and the rest of the executive into panic mode. William Samoei Ruto has seen clear signs that he has been properly used and he will soon be dumped by his Western imperialist masters. As a result, the first-time president decided to release a shocking statement to calm down tensions that have grown within the executive and the entire country. Could it be true that William Ruto had been installed by a Western intelligence agency, especially the American CIA, that install puppet leaders and overthrow governments they don't like across the world? Could it be true that William Ruto had been installed by Joe Biden administration to execute American imperialist orders across the world? If you watch this video to the end, you will discover shocking details of how William Ruto, fearing for his political future, went into panic mode. Join me as we delve deep into how Ruto might have been promised a second term by the Biden-Kamala administration that has now lost massively in the just concluded US presidential elections, and what this means for President Ruto's second term bid. Life has been very difficult for William Ruto and his advisors since the declaration of Donald John Trump as president-elect of the United States. William Ruto has panicked over grave concerns that Donald Trump, after being sworn in, will quash the funding for Haiti mission and thus deprive President Ruto millions of dollars that the country has been receiving in exchange for police officers' deployment to Haiti. In fact, the tension became so evident when just 2 days after Republican Donald Trump won the election, President Ruto turned to American Secretary of State for refuge and solace. A few hours to midnight on Thursday, President William Ruto released a statement to assure the country that his leadership in the mission to Haiti would still be intact and that he has made a few precautionary measures to deter any possible withdrawal of support by the Republican Donald Trump administration. Ruto revealed that he has had a conversation with the United States Secretary of State Antony J. Blinken on the Kenya-led multinational security support mission in Haiti. The president assured that him and Blinken have discussed how the Kenya-led mission can be transitioned into a United Nations peacekeeping operation as a means of enhancing the capability of the mission to help stabilize Haiti. Here is a statement, and I quote, "I have had a constructive conversation with the U.S. Secretary of State Antony J. Blinken on the Kenya-led multinational security support mission in Haiti. We discussed the transition of the mission into a UN peacekeeping operation to enhance the capability of the mission to stabilize Haiti." End of quote. And the president went ahead to mention Secretary Blinken's official Twitter handle. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're reading between the lines, you will agree with me that this was not a discussion like any other. This was a desperate and panic request of William Ruto to the outgoing American administration. Ruto knows very well and very clearly that January 20th, 2025, the date of the inauguration of Donald Trump, might as well be the date on which he would be forced to withdraw Kenya police from Haiti due to the end of US financial aid. But why would the whole commander-in-chief of the defense forces panic over this matter? Why would President Ruto be so concerned about the possible end of the US deal over Haiti? Could this deal have been a Meg Whitman side hustle, a deal that she had probably brokered and brought William Ruto on board, which saw the Kenya Police Service used as pawns? Could it be true that Secretary Blinken knows that the hammer is already lifted over his head and he's just trying to sanitize the room for the new occupants? I will leave these questions for you to answer in the comment section, but in my opinion, I think the Central Intelligence Agency CIA had a hand in William Ruto's ascension to the presidency. This was clearly evident when US Ambassador to Kenya Meg Whitman was seen to be very close to the IEBC chairperson Wafula Chebukati. I have no doubt the ambassador meddled in this constitutional process that saw William Ruto being declared as president-elect. Now, over the last 2 years, we've seen Meg Whitman actively taking part in Kenya's domestic affairs and doing TV interviews with major media houses. Diplomatic laws require that an ambassador has to remain neutral and must only act as a link between his or her country and the nation to which they have been sent. There are reports that Meg Whitman, being a rich business leader in the United States, had contributed massively to Biden's campaign, and so Biden had to reward her by appointing her as ambassador to the puppet nation of Kenya, whose president they had successfully installed through covert operations. And these are methods that are hardly visible to the common Kenyan and whose evidence trail always go unnoticed. In conclusion, Ruto knows that his time in the executive office of the president is coming to an end, and without the so-called Democratic Biden administration that installed him into power, he does not stand a chance of winning the second term come 2027, and therefore he has lodged a panic call to US Secretary of State Antony Blinken so that if it were possible, the deals that were signed by President Biden should be offered immunity from President Trump's unpredictable nature. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching for the first time, please don't hesitate to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Also, don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section below so that you can let me know your thoughts and opinions about this entire matter. I'm committed to reading and responding to all the comments so that we can engage in a more fruitful and constructive way. Cheers.